They say my ma walks slowly, that one foot is a bit too far apart from the other because I came out burning. They say my ma showed up to the hospital screaming that her insides were on fire, that something was not right. They say they told her it was fine. Heartburn. Everything was all right. Ma just kept on screaming. So they got her up on a table, looked things over, and told her to come back. I came 3 hours later. A neighbor had found Ma passed out at home, said Ma's body was so hot they were sure there was an infection. But my Ma wasn't infected. They say as soon as she pushed me out, her body cooled, and she asked for blankets. They say I was a fire child. My Ma never spent much time with me. They say I was too hot to touch, that Ma's nipples became so dark they looked like she'd fed them to life flames and having singed all the pain away, just left them there. Ma never touched me much. There were always layers between us. A blanket, a glove, air. They say I left marks every time skin touched skin, that I was easier to love from afar. They say I am a fire child. Ma has never told me this, but I know it's true. I see how her eyes light up when she's near water, how she eases herself into it, spreads her legs even further apart, begging for a balm. It is the only time her body is light enough to float. The only time sloughing skin does not hurt. Sometimes Ma goes deep in the water and doesn't come up for a while. It scares me, so I go in after her. But I am a fire child. Heat succumbs to cool fluid. Each time my limbs become lead, I feel myself sinking. Each time, just as I am dying, Ma pulls me out. It is one of the few times we touch. I don't know what goes through her mind at these times, but as skin drags skin through water, back up to the surface, part of me understands what it feels like to have a foreign body tear a path through you. You say I am hard to love, that my body hangs awkwardly in embrace, too soft in places, rigid in others. You say to add salt to my words, to coat them in honey so they slide not cut, that it would serve me to round out my sharp edges, that lines changing directions without warning confuse, frighten even. You say you don't want me to be hard to love, that you are my Ma. You've always said this, but I notice you're saying it more these days. There's an urgency in your voice, like you're running out of time. And just beneath the impatience, I hear irritation too. You've been working on a portrait for many years now. Brush strokes have glided over canvas, outlining shapes, splashing color, shading, shadows. But I am different than you imagined. Stubborn in the way my shapes spill from your outlines, irreverent in my color palette. Outspoken about things best left without light. I think you're finally realizing that your masterpiece looks nothing like me. And with so much time gone, with such divergence, chances of a future mirroring are slim. You say you don't want me to be hard to love, that you are my ma. But I think you're mourning 30 years of dreaming gone down the drain. Sometimes love is a 4-letter word tucked into la salsa de tu madre. It unfolds itself in the hints of cilantro and the small pieces of hand-cut tomato that find your teeth. Sometimes love is a 4-letter word that smells like the floral scents around mama's neck. You know it the same way your body remembers which parts of her can hold you tight enough to fix broken things. Pero sometimes love is a 4-letter word hidden under all the voices that told tu madre the many ways she was not enough. Like heirloom echoes, mama passes them to you like abuela did her and mama's abuela before her. They tell you time is running out and remind you the many ways you are not enough. Sometimes love is a 4-letter word so choked by life it takes on new spellings. Chica, when you notice the corrupted letters, claw yourself out from under there. Erect a sturdy fence around your heart. Teach yourself all the correct spellings for love. Write them all over your walls, in every color. Bylaws for your fortress. Tell tu madre that the rules apply to her too. All who enter must learn to spell correctly. Tell mama that this love is a 4-letter word relearned. You know what, Ma? I was thinking the other day that baking is as much about staying separate as it is mixing. Stay with me, Ma. Stop rolling your eyes. Remember the first time we made blueberry muffins? You made me lay out all the ingredients, then told me to mix the wet and dry separately. I remember thinking this was a waste of time. Everything would go in the same bowl eventually, so why soil extra dishes? You said something about separation giving each type time and space to mix, to let the dry be dry and the wet be wet, so that when they finally met, one didn't have to do too much mixing and end up with rocks for muffins. And you say you're not a poet, Ma. Remember when we used to fight all the time? When we would go weeks without speaking, or when our speaking was like walking a tightrope blindfolded in heels? I was thinking the other day that maybe we were trying to mix dry and wet too soon. That maybe we needed to first let the dry be dry and the wet be wet. Remember when you helped me move last summer? I never told you, but I was nervous. 46 hours of mixing is a whole lot of mixing. And I wasn't sure we were ready. I wasn't sure I was ready. My car has no eject button. Ma, I never told you, but I ugly cried when we got to Portland. I'm telling you now, I enjoyed every moment of our trip. I guess the dry had been dry long enough, and when we got to mixing, the time was right. Dry was fully dry and found welcome in wet. Now, Ma, I saw that eye roll. I hear you saying that 46 hours is too long to mix anything, that no one has any interest in crunching rocks. I hear you, but stay with me. I think we're finally in the oven now. I switched on the light in there, and things look good. Looks like we mixed just right, Ma. Looks like we'll make a good muffin, after all. I cannot say amen to your prayers that my table be full of children. I cannot smile as you eye my belly, clapping your hands in delight as you dream of the bodies that will find shelter within me. I cannot nod along with analogies of fruits emerging from trees or to tales of familial fecundity. I cannot join in your excitement as you count imaginary offspring on your fingers, spewing names as you do. Not if today I have my fill of nagging echoes for food at dinner time, and tomorrow, on another's whim, I am left with empty chairs, cradling memories of eager mouths that once called me Ma. Not if men turn my belly to a home amidst screams and pleas, ripping my insides, mouth gagged, hands behind my back. Not if in the throes of war, for whatever foolish cause, men again lay claim to what they do not own, slicing me open, exposing my inhabitants to violence. Not if labor itself will usher in death. What good are fruits plucked before their time? Crushed underfoot, juice staining the ground red beneath, refusing to disappear quietly. What use are organs bursting with potential when the heart can only break so much? What does one do with names after bodies are offered up as sacrifices to insatiable gods? So say your prayers if you like. You will hear no amen from these lips. I am out of room, earmarked for grief. The women in my family cook without recipes. Àwọn lọ́wọ́ ṣíbí, the ones that wield spoons like warriors. These women speak to food, cajoling out flavor, their arms moving to rhythms passed down through generations. A dance, well rehearsed, by mothers, sisters, aunties before them, but fluid as water. No two meals exactly the same, but each a revelation, a testament to tongues for which blandness is taboo, to a culture that thrives on color. The women in my family cook with formulas etched in flesh. There are no books by their stoves. When I cook, I hear Ma's voice telling me to wait for the oil to float to the top. I see Auntie Toyin's wrist, firm, beating lumps into submission. I too whisper the food. I win whole wars with ladles. Best believe there are no books by my stove. I brought you home last week. I watched Ma bathe you. I watched Auntie Toyin rock you to sleep. And what Mama Toti day? The child whisperers are here. In true to form, they brought no manuals with them. I remind myself that I have done this before, that I have lived many lives without maps, that just as I learned to whisper to food, to hold my amorogun firm like a general, I will learn this new trade too. The women in my family love, undirected. But somehow this feels different. I know that though Ma whispers to children, you are different. A testament to a mother that chooses hard things, to women difficult to decipher. I wonder if I will learn your language, whether you too will move to pass down rhythms. I will love you in ways that will sometimes feel like war. You came with no formulas etched in flesh. Let me tell you about your grandmother. 5'3", that one, but expansive like gas, filling rooms. Your grandmother was born of fire, a thing of legend, 1,000 embers enveloped by skin brown as earth, a woman reared for conquer, a burning bush that would not be consumed. I first met her when I was about your age. It seemed she had not yet found her way, and every scrape of skin yielded an outlet for fire, untamed. One felt it too in her hugs, the intensity of a love that burns. But again, Ohema, your grandmother was bred for conquer, and I watched the woman harness flames. The windows in her skin became fenestrations of light, leading in darkness. Every kiss an initiation into heat that warmed without marking. Her arms grew into a fireplace, by whose light I discovered the magic of books, that in strings of words one could find home. But make no mistake, your grandmother did not go soft. Her body remains a kiln. The inferno erupts still, untamed, when she sees truth silenced, or when the ones she loves are in harm's way. Your grandmother's love still burns, Ohema, but it has clear enemies now. I'm telling you now, so you know what kind of woman you come from. I am telling you now, before someone else tells you otherwise. Ohema, your grandmother is a star. There is light etched into your bones. Like gas, you too expand to fill rooms. A burning bush, never to be consumed. You will be master over fire.